Today's topic is going to frustrate some. It is going to be like a cool spring bath to others who are going to say, wow, this is refreshing. This is exactly what I was looking for. This is the secret to my success. And others are going to feel like they just aren't doing enough. Like maybe their failure in life is because of them and they can't blame anybody else. So for those of you who are in part number two of this call, I say a prayer for you now. I wish you the best, and maybe you just go back through last week's wealth principle and we'll get even more strength out of it. For everybody else, welcome back, alchemists. This is the 52 Weeks to Wealth. My name is Walter Morello, and we are traveling through this journey every single week on a mission to double our income and double our net worth. We also have committed to building 100 millionaires each. Show of hands, you're still committed to the mission, building 100 millionaires. Doubling your income, doubling your net worth. Awesome. In that case, give yourselves a round of applause. I love each and every one of you. Today's wealth principle is wealth principle 31. When setting sales goals, go for no. Now, sales is a business we're all in. True or true? Show of hands if you are in sales, nothing you can do about it. You chose sales because it makes a lot of money. We are also chose sales because they like helping people. Show of hands if you are one of those. You're just addicted to the service. Awesome. I think that's what we're called to do. Now, unfortunately, there are people right now in the sales industry, in the sales world arena, who are not making their sales goals happen. So today we're going to talk about not just setting goals, because goals themselves are just dreams with a target. They're dreams with a date. They're dreams with a timeline. What we're going to talk about is an actual action plan where you can actually start seeing your goals. In fact, we're going to make a strategic system that you can follow. And this is, by the way, going to be very tactical. And after this, if your days are not a little more stressful, you didn't actually take on today's challenge. Show of hands if you're okay with a little more stress in your life. A few of you. Excellent. Who here wishes there was no stress in life? Anybody wish there was no stress in life, that it was easy no matter what we did? Awesome. I'm with you. I believe in the law of attraction. I do believe in manifestation. But today we're going to talk about manifesting, right? Actually getting results, actually getting things in our lives through action, through correct action. Now, there are people who have already considered what I just said and said, man, I don't want to do a lot of action. What I'd like is a lot of results. And here's the problem with the law of attraction. It's too popularized for one factor. It's too popularized for, if you just think about it, it'll come to you. The Secret really did this great job of, manifesting. You got to just, visualize what you want, and then it's going to come, and it's going to flow all over you. Who here has tried visualizing the lifestyle they want and it hasn't worked yet? Just visualizing alone? All right. So today we're going to talk about the actions that get us there. We're going to do some math. And if you have not done this math, this could be the cause of your failure. And if you have done the math, but you haven't implemented the action, that could be the step. So we're going to make sure there's a couple of steps that you can keep an eye on so that you can actually see some results. A few of you on the call, by the way, are absolutely crushing it. And I still think there's room to improve. We have millionaires, multimillionaires, pentamillionaires, and decamillionaires on the call. So let's give all our millionaires a big round of applause. Part of this Build 100 Millionaires thing is a part of our financial freedom strategy. Show of hands if financial freedom is more important to you right now than making $1 million. If just not having to work, if just being able to just do what you're passionate about is more important than $1 million. Show of hands one more time so I can get a real good view on who's just focused on the financial freedom part. Perfect. That's why I'm going to ask you to build $1 million, because financial freedom is a lot easier to get when you leverage $1 million at 12%. Think about that math for a second. $1 million at 12% is $120,000 a year passive income. That's $10,000 a month passive income. Now, all the millionaires on the call, the people who've already done it, know it's significantly easier to make $1 million and invest that for 12% than it is to earn $1 million through your own hard sweat and try to make that 100,000 every single year. Show of hands if you try to make the six figures and it's a bitch. It's a lot of work. All right, we know the active side of it, right? So making $1 million is a lot easier than it is to make $100,000 through active work. Trust me. And if you have any questions on that, you can send me a chat later on. Now, we're going to talk about sales, because in this real estate business, in this business, we have to sell some things. Show of hands if you have a product. Show of hands if you have a product. Awesome. Drop your product in the chat now. By the way, Shameless plug, shameless promotion. Drop your product in the chat here. If you're on Facebook, drop it there. If you're on YouTube, drop it there. But if you're here in the Zoom, drop it right here inside the Zoom. What is your product? And please, please, for the love of God, make your product less than 3 words. If you're one of those people who's like, my product is helping people do some stuff and making their lives a lot easier by eliminating other problems, that's not what I'm asking for. I don't need your USP. Give me your product. What is the product you sell? Make it less than 3 words. Yes, Darina, mastermind. Exactly. Well, really, really, that is the product. That's right. But what is the result that we sell? We sell financial freedom, right? So that's really what we're selling. The structure just happens to be mastermind. Also, I see real estate. I see water treatment. I see happiness. Oh, come on. You had to do it, didn't you? Awesome. All right. So real estate designs by her, professional staging. That's a lot of words, Roger, but I get you. I get where you're going with this. Financial freedom, home inspections, increase income, impact, health, wealth, consulting, breakthroughs. Fantastic. Let's get everybody on the call who's dropped something in the chat, knowledge and accountability. Fantastic. All right. So Alchemist Nation, our mission is financial freedom. What do we sell? We're selling the idea of your financial freedom. We're selling the perspective of your financial freedom. Show of hands if you are ready to buy financial freedom. If you could buy it, you would buy it. If it was available, you say yes, money down. Perfect. Who here believes they've got the best product? Just show of hands. Best product. You believe you are the best at what you do. You got the best product. You're the best of the best of the best. Show of hands. Yeah. I see a lot of head nods. I see a lot of eye rolls, but yeah, hands up. Perfect. Give yourselves one more round of applause. You're the greatest, the best at what you do. 8 billion people on the planet. You think you're the best of all 8 billion people. I love the arrogance. You need that. It's important. All right. Here's the word. I want you to write it down. Big word, big important word. I want you to write it down. I want a whole new page. If you got notes, I want a whole new page for this word. I want you to write this word down because this word is going to create the results that you're looking for. It's going to get your best product into the hands of other people. It's going to bring in the income that you're looking for, the passive income that you're looking for. This one word needs to be written down on a big sheet of paper, and you may even want to make that the bubbly words, the bubbly text, if you can figure out how to get it done. The word is no. Write this word down. No. Big letters on a big piece of paper. I want you to rip that piece of paper out of that notebook. Doesn't need to be in there. It needs to be in a place where you could see it. The word is no. I want you to write this word down with so much emphasis you indent into the next page, right? As you're writing the word no onto this piece of paper. The reason this is important for you is because you haven't quite hit the lifestyle you're looking for. Now, everybody on this call, I know you personally, most of you anyway. At least your cameras are on. I know who you are. I know most of your goals. And I know you only show up to this call because you want something else. You're looking for a little bit more, whether it's the next client, whether it's the next idea or the next structure or the next property or the next stream of passive income. It may be the next $1 million, maybe the next $100,000. It may be the next friend. Some of you are looking for friendship and relationships to surround yourself with champions. But you showed up because you want something. The only way to get it is to remember this word when anything else comes up. The word no is a glorious word. It's a glorious word to use. It creates financial freedom. The word no truly does create financial freedom. I bought my financial freedom through the word no. Now I'll show you a story. So when I was a young entrepreneur, let's call this 2015, I wasn't great at much. I wasn't great at much at all. But I was good at paying attention to smart people. I was good at finding people who are really smart. Last week's Wealth Principle was getting around mentors, people who are the right mentors. And I found a mentor, and my mentor gave me a book. And it happens to be this week's book of the week. And he gave me this book, and I read it, and I couldn't, for the life of me, understand why I hadn't learned this principle sooner. So I started implementing what was in the book. Now, the book's name was Go for No. And the philosophy inside the book was instead of going for customers' yeses, you would go for their no's. You'd start counting them. And when I first heard the philosophy, I said, this is absolutely insane. It's crazy. It doesn't work. But I'm one of those people who likes to experiment. I like to try things out because people smarter than me said to do it. I'm not one of those people who will trust a broke person. I don't really trust them for much other than how to lose money fast or how to stay and hold other people back. Has anybody noticed broke people tend to do that? They hold each other back, they hold each other down, they don't really like to support each other in financial goals. So I realized this guy's rich. He's smarter than me. He's way richer than me. And he's got pretty big biceps. So I said, oh, I'm going to go for no. I'm going to go for a new phraseology in my life. And what I started doing was I started writing down the amount of calls that I made each day. And he told me to call. He told me to cold call people. Cold call. And the cold, not warm, not lukewarm, not they know me. Just cold call strangers who owned a piece of property. And the piece of property had to be owned by somebody who was 65 years plus, who'd been in the house for more than 7 years, and it had to be in the zip code that I was looking to purchase property in. So it was very specific, three requirements for me to cold call these people. Now he was having me call the baby boom generation because, wealth transfer, silver tsunami, they have all the real estate, they got all the capital, they have low mortgages, they have, their properties are paid off, so they're in high equity positions. So he knew a thing, true or true. He could justify why I should call these people. And then he had me jump on a dialer that automatically called. And I started calling him and I was saying, hey, I want to buy your house. And I got a lot of no's. I got a lot of no's, but I counted all the no's this time. Instead of just being rejected and doing it and being like walking away, I started counting the no's. And after about an hour of this, I'd spoken to over 50 people, had conversations with. I got somebody who said, yes, I'd love to meet with you. Let's go on an appointment. Actually, it wasn't an hour, it was 2 hours to get to the 50, to get to this person. Now, 2 hours of painful no after no after no after no after no. Now, there were 50 no's, 49 no's, and one yes. Show of hands, we hear how painful that was. There's a lot of no's. No sometimes comes in the form of a click. No sometimes comes in the form of F off, you insert word. No sometimes comes in the form of you're just a low-life scum trying to buy my house cheap like one of those investors. No isn't always as nice as the two-letter word no. No is painful. There's a lot of rejection around no. But I went through it because my mentor was smarter than me. My coach was smarter than me. He said, do this. And he was right. Now he was right. I got to 50, number 50, and that person said yes. And what happened was I had failed. I failed because I stopped right there. I stopped at the yes. I said, okay, I got a yes on the appointment. Here's what happened on that appointment. She didn't close with me. She was not ready to sell. She wasn't interested. So I went back to my coach, my mentor, and he said, well, you didn't go for no. How many no's did you get? He's like, well, I counted. There's 49 no's. He said, okay, well, here's some math that you need to hear. You have to go to 200 no's in order to get 4 appointments. And you need 4 appointments in order to get one sale, one closing. I said, well, that's a totally different way of looking. I said, here's what you could do. He said, in the book, he talks about doing the no math, right? That's no math. And Vinny talked about it Thursday on his call. And I'm going to share this math with you. The no math is this. If it takes you 200 no's to get to one yes, and that yes gets you a $20,000 commission, then it took you 200 no's, and those might be worth $100 a piece. Because every time you got a no, it led to the next yes. 50 no's later, there was a yes. 49 no's later, there was a yes. 49 no's later, there was another yes. So he said, start adding a value to those no's. Every time you get a no, it's $100 in the bank. Every time you get a no, it's $100 in the bank. And just start adding it up. Because we were getting $20,000 commissions when we were selling pieces of real estate. Show of hands, there's a lot more money to make in real estate. Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot more than that. Some of the deals we've done, we made $300,000. Some of the deals we've done, we made 1.5 or $1.4 million. Some of the deals we've done, we've made $400,000, $300,000, $200,000, $150,000. Some of the deals Ron and I are doing right now, $75,000 plus $75,000. There's big rewards in some of these businesses, but there's a lot of no's to get to that point. In fact, the deal Ron's doing right now, he kept being told no by the bank who holds the loan for us. We have this big umbrella loan, and they had 24 condos in it. Now we're down to 16, and we were like, we want to sell this next one. They're like, no, you can't sell that next one. So you go do this, 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 and push to closing 60 days. Who here does not like the idea of waiting 60 days to get an extra $75,000? Oh, it's frustrating. Absolutely frustrating. There's a lot of no's. But on the other side of those no's is finally the yes, the clear to close. And then the money comes in. So it can be a wonderful experience, but not because of the yes, because of how many no's we went through and we pushed past the rejection. So we're going to give you some action steps today, things that we can implement. By the way, who here would love to make more sales? Just a confirmation after I just said you got to fall in love with no and rejection. Excellent. So there's 3 steps, 3 things, 3 tactics to embrace the word no, because we do have to rewire our brains on this one. Who here has heard no and thought negative? Heard no and thought not good, heard no and not interested, right? This goes against your psychology. This goes against the natural psychology of the human. But success and helping people, by the way, who here, just a reminder, you're here to help others. You want to help others? You got a big, powerful mission. There's impact on the other side of this. Who can imagine that if you didn't call a person, maybe They never got the help that you could provide, and maybe their life was worse off. Who can imagine that's happening right now? Right, yesterday when you didn't make the calls, the day before you didn't make the calls, maybe that person never gets called. I know for me in my database, there's 13,000 people who have clicked on and given us their information, Sign Alchemist Station, said, "Hey, call me back," or "Hey, help me out. Hey, yeah, this is my financial goals. Please, give me some direction." 13,000 people. I know that 12,000 have not been contacted by me or my team in the last 6 months. How's that for a failure? How's that for not paying it forward, not helping? I happen to know that number. Many of you have no clue how many people you're not reaching back out to. Show of hands if that makes sense.
Well, I know
Just
him.
just because I track it, I know how many people have come in asking for help that we haven't responded back to. I know how many people have, by the way, you don't click on my website unless you want to make more money. True or true? Nobody clicks on I Build Millionaires unless they want to make more money. Nobody goes to yourmillionairepath.com or yourmillionairepath.com or alchemistnation.com unless they're thinking increase income. Walter said he builds millionaires. That whole team is all about increasing net worth. So I know that if somebody clicked on any one of my sites, my first book broke to a quarter million. I know if they went to that website, broke to a quarter million.com or namesondeeds.com, that they spoke with me and they were bought into something I said. And so they clicked, put me their contact information, and then we didn't go and reach out and call them and say, "Hey, by the way, what are your goals? What are you looking to accomplish? What's holding you back? Where would you like to be?" Who has, however, jumped on a call with me or one of my team? Show of hands who jumped on a call with one of us. Awesome. Okay, let's give you a round of applause for taking a lot more action than other people. Some people are not as active as you. You are significantly more active. These other passive people, they're out there. I guarantee you they're out there in your world too. Guaranteed you got 13,000 people who you haven't reached out to because you're not picking up the phone, calling them and asking them what their problems are. Guaranteed you got, maybe some of you got more than me. Maybe some of you got 10,000 people. Maybe there's 20,000 people, 30,000 people you could have an impact on if you had just picked up the phone and said, "Hey, I noticed that you were interested in this thing. How can I help you? What is it you're looking for? What are your goals? What are your challenges? What are you facing this year that could slow you down or stop you from getting where you want to go?" Not to put any more pressure on you, but there's a lot of people out there who need your help. True or true? Excellent. I know you got financial burdens. I know you got family burdens. I know you got challenges that you're facing. What about the clients that you could be serving? Don't they have challenges too? Don't they have burdens? Don't they have families, concerns, fears? Aren't there other people out there less scrupulous, like unscrupulous people doing the same thing as you under the same title? Show of hands that there's worse players, worse actors in the field. If you don't show up, who is? Somebody else who may not provide the quality service you provide, who may not care about the customer the way you do. So if you're not showing up, somebody else is going to show up. Some of you have a fear of sales. Some of you have a concern with sales. Guess what? People who don't fulfill on their products, they tend to be a lot better at sales, aren't they? So fans, there's a lot of great salespeople out there who do terrible, terrible work. Shit work, but they're great salespeople. And you're always like, "Oh man, like those people are terrible. Oh, they're so good at selling people, so good at selling people." I'm going to ask you to be better at selling people because I believe you do good work. True or true? Awesome. All right. How to embrace no. How to do this. How to emotionally do this. You may need a new page for this one. That no, ripped out, that's its own thing. One, set no-based goals. Set no-based goals and see them emotionally as an award, as a reward every time you hit a goal. So instead of focusing solely on the yes-based metric, oh, they said yes, they want to sell their house to me, they want to lend their money to me, they want to buy my product, they want me to go check out their house. Instead of saying the yes metric as the goal, set a no goal, set a no metric based on the number of rejections you aim to receive. Based on a number of no's, you must hear, you expect to hear. Embrace rejection as a natural part of the sales process and celebrate each no with a step towards your ultimate goal. The next one is my favorite. The next one is absolutely, well, maybe the third one I like too, but the second one is seek out the rejection. Seek out the rejection. Be a little polarizing. Another way to say that. Disqualify the client. Disqualify. I tell all my salespeople, get on the call with them and disqualify them immediately. Right? When you're jumping on, you're like, "Hey, like, do you want to be a millionaire?" It's like, "No, I'm not interested." Cool. Disqualification number one. "Hey, are you interested in real estate investing?" "Nah, I'm not even close. Not even. Disqualification number two. Hey, are you willing to do hard work to, invest to learn? Do you want to learn new things? You want to be surrounded by champions and killers? Like, nah, man, I'm trying to isolate. I want to get away from people. Disqualification number three. Perfect. Hey, what are you looking for? Man, I just want money to land on my lap. Cool. All right. Here, go buy a scratch ticket. Good luck. You want to disqualify. So seek number two is seek rejection. Don't shy away from the rejection. Seek it out, embrace it. Proactively seek out opportunities to hear the word no. Whether it's by cold calling, sending outreach in emails, or pitching your product or services to potential clients, more rejection you encounter, the closer you'll be achieving your sales goals. Because rejection, well, I'll write this down. Just seek out the rejection, seek it out, knowing that there's a positive reason for it. The more time you can spend on the right people. I'll give you that one as a pro tip, right? The more no's you get, the more you can disqualify those people. The more it's like, man, I was on a call the other day with a person, 15 minutes of my life, 15 minutes of their life with the guy who can't help them. These guys literally just want to sell to this community. That the whole point of the freaking call was they wanted to sell their financial product to my community. Their financial product, by the way, was a crypto product, which already I'm not a huge fan of. But they wanted to say, they're like, oh man, this is how everybody's going to get rich. It's like, dude, you could take your fucking scam and take it somewhere else because my people are ready to do it the right way, the guaranteed way, the way that's going to give them wealth over the long term and help other people doing so. So, fans, you know, there's a lot of scams out there. There's a lot. I'm not saying all of them are scams. I'm just saying this guy was definitely a shyster. And he didn't know anybody. And I could feel it on the call. I could feel the inauthenticity, the fact that he didn't even understand the product he was peddling. There's a lot of them. There's, oh man, this shiny object. This is so great. It's like, dude, you don't understand the metrics behind the product you're selling. And first, to be clear, I could have and should have gotten off the phone in 5 minutes because I did know, but I stayed on 15 whole minutes, 10 minutes more than he deserved of my time. What I could have done is texted him in advance and realized all he wanted to do was peddle his program to the community instead of jumping into the community at a deeper level and developing with you and evolving with you and getting real estate for himself. He just wanted to sell to you. Show fans for understand we got to protect our community too. That's right. So the more no's I say to shysters, the more success we have within the community. So seek out rejection. I seek out rejection often. In fact, I've got a lot of coaches, man. I get hit up by coaches all the time. Man, I should be on your stage. You need me on your stage. You need me on your stage. You need me at the summit. And it's like, dude, the only people I need at the summit are the people who followed the process, followed the Alchemist Nation process, became successful through the Alchemist Nation process, because this is the only process that is proven to build millionaires, the only process that is proven to build financial freedom for its customers, the only process that has created over and over and over satisfactory relationships. By the way, show of hands if you've met some really great people in this community. That's some amazing people. Built great partnerships. Awesome. Give yourselves a round of applause. You're smart, very intelligent. All right. So saying no, getting the rejection faster. Number three, you can learn from rejections every time. Every time I've spoken to someone and they're like, oh man, no, this isn't right for me. I'm like, well, how did we find you? How did you find us? How did you come through this particular funnel and not be the right customer? Like, what is it that you did that made you not a customer of ours so I can go back and never market to people like you again? Show fans if you learn from rejection. Right? You learn from rejection. The more questions you ask, the more you're like, oh, okay, so you don't like real estate at all? You're not even remotely interested in real estate? You don't like scaling up business? Like you just so what is it you thought this was? Oh, okay. All right. You thought we were going to hand you $1 million. I understand. That marketing challenge. Let's shift away from that marketing challenge and shift it to something that's more authentic. By the way, who here noticed we don't call the 100 Millionaire Summit the 100 Millionaire Summit anymore? Who's noticed that already? Yes, because people thought there would just be 100 millionaires in the room and they were going to come in and sell to the millionaires. That was the thought process for the people who were showing up, not you guys, but everybody else who doesn't still stick with the community once they realized there's a lot of people in there who will be future millionaires on their way to becoming a millionaire. So we changed the name to Business and Real Estate Summit because it is about business and real estate. We build business, we buy real estate. So learn from rejection. Every no holds valuable insights. Write this down. Every no holds valuable insights that can help you refine your sales approach and improve your pitch. Take the time to analyze each rejection and identify common objections. Adapt your strategy accordingly. Use rejection as a learning opportunity to refine your sales process and increase your chances of success. Now, some of the results you're going to expect are going to be increased resilience. You'll be tougher. You'll certainly be tougher after this. You're going to find accelerated growth, although, like me and Kingsley were talking about earlier, your growth may take 90 to 120 days before it really implements, before you really start seeing the growth of the actions you're taking today. That's why I was ripping Thurban a new one this morning at the gym. I was like, bro, like on Thursday, you called 90, you spoke with 90 people inside the community. Let's give Thurban a big round of applause. Spoke with 90 people in the community, and he asked them, what do you think of our event? What can we improve? How can we make this better? What are your goals? How can we help you? And then on Friday, he called nobody. He called nobody. And so this principle, although relevant, it's part of the 52 weeks of wealth. This principle is really relevant for the people on my sales team because we don't just make a lot of money, we also have a lot of impact. Our sales team is very committed to not selling a person who's not ready, not selling a person who's not right, only offering the opportunity if it's right for the person. So, fans, if you love that idea of sales, it's diagnostic selling. It's just not everybody's meant to be sold. We know Alchemist Nation has 13,000 members. We're probably never going to sell to about 10,000 of them. That's okay, right? We're still going to bring them through the process. We're going to still give them the customer service. We're going to still bring them and provide them a service and a value. So accelerated growth may take some time. 3 is deeper insights, right? Your result you're going to get out of going for no is deeper insights. So you're going to get increased resilience, accelerated growth, deeper insights, and a heightened level of confidence that comes from a person who is doing things that are more difficult than what the average person in their career is ever going or willing to do. You will discover that you have helped more people after 90 days, 120 days of going for no. You're going to discover that you've helped more people, that your income has increased. And this is why it's so important to fall in love with no, because you're going to make more money chasing the no's than you will ever have made chasing the yeses. And if you make more money than you're used to, your brain might shut down your income stream. It might say you don't need to work today. So I need you to fall in love with just the no so you can keep out earning your past financial blueprints. So fans, if you know, you earn what you have always earned unless something changes. My suggestion is the no. Let the no be what changes in your life, because if you do that, you might get to keep the money that comes into your life. You might get to keep producing more. You will have to build a resistance to the word no. And here's one of the other things that comes after this. Eventually, your conversion will be significantly higher. In fact, we had an experiment. Who here would like to hear an experiment we did in our sales team this week? One that's relevant to you, super relevant to you. We had an experiment run. Thurban did a power dialer where he only called one time. He only called one time, and the dial would dial every 30 seconds. It took him 8 hours to call 277 people, 280-ish people. 8 hours. He only connected with 33% of the people he called. Write these numbers down if it's relevant to you. But he dialed for 8 hours. These, by the way, are metrics that you can use in your sales business. These are metrics you can use in your business. Either it's you or you hire a person who does the sales in your business. By the way, who here knows you need more sales in your business no matter what level you're at? Absolutely. You either hire a person to do it or you do it. He dialed for 8 hours. He used the power dialer, so he did not have to click the button. The power dialer dialed for him. He dialed for 8 hours. He spoke with 180 people. And he didn't speak to. He called 180 people. He spoke with 33% of them. It averages out to about 90 people that he spoke to. 90 people. Now we had another person on the sales team, had a completely different approach. Doug Ford. Doug, who's on the call right now, reached out to each of you, and he did a call, text, call model. Not a power dial. This is very manual. He did a call, text, call. His connection rate, write this number down. He contacted 88% of the people he called. He called 57 people. He spoke with 45. Here's what's important. He did this in a 4-hour period. Thurban worked 8 hours. He contacted 90 people. So if we do the math, we cut it in half. In a 4-hour period, he talked to 45 people. The conversations that Thurban and Doug had were identical. They were about the same level of depth in the person because we have a very good training of find out about them, what their goals are, what's going on, how they're doing, what they thought about our event, what we could improve. We have a very similar training in that capacity, but the experiment was power dialer versus a call, text, call approach. Call, text, call back. Got an 88% contact rate. Do you know what my thought is on this? Both of these gentlemen are champions because they reached out to 45 of you. So let's give them a big round of applause. They reached out to a lot of you, but they spoke with 45 of you. Here's the reason this is important. They were committed to the no. They fell in love with the no because inside Alchemist Nation, we have an ulterior motive behind our sales, besides just selling. We want to know more about you. When we reach out, we're filling in questions. We're asking questions. We're filling in the fields because if we believe that if we can know enough about you and your goals and our community, then we can create better products. If we know enough about you and your goals, then we can get you in front of better connections. If we know enough about you, your goals, your problems, your challenges, then we can provide free services or decide what the next invention we're going to create is, or the next course we're going to create is, or the next webinar, or how long the webinars are, or where they're at, or the next event that we're going to start, because you tell us what your problems are. Joe fans, if that makes sense in your business as well, if you ask your customers more questions, if you go for more no's, by the way, a lot of the people we called said, no, not interested, not even remotely interested. We don't even know what Alchemist Nation is. Who are you? And you know what that told us? Our local leaders don't have branding. They don't have branding up at their events. So Dorena is working on sending all of our local leaders a sign that says Alchemist Nation on top, business and real estate summit. So that is something we're working on over the next, we'll call it 30 to 90 days. Our local leaders will have more branding in place that only came from us asking questions from the people who were rejecting us. People like, I don't know who Alchemist Nation is. What the heck? Here's what's interesting. As soon as they started sharing what we do, sharing how we work with people, how we focus on building their business, and then we move them into real estate. There were a lot of people who said, "Oh wow, oh this is cool. Like thank you. I'm so glad you called. I appreciate it. Yeah, there was a person I met at the event that I can't remember what their name was, but this is what they did. And okay, well I know who everybody who was at the event. What was it this day and this? Oh, okay, yeah, that's the one. Awesome. Yeah. Can you guys connect me? Let me contact them first and see if they're okay with it. Because we got to keep contacting people anyway. Show offense, if that makes sense. Awesome. All right. So I told Melanie to be on the call. Where is she? She's here somewhere. Spoke with Melanie this week. She is one of our favorite millionaires. She's absolutely crushing it in the millionaire space. She owns now 9 subways and 40 something rental units, rental apartments in Massachusetts. So let's give her a big round of applause first. She's crushing it. Been with the community for over 5 years. And one of the things that she said to me this week is that she feels really good with where she's at in life. She feels like she's really accomplished things. She's really feeling good. Here's why this is important to you. It's not going to feel like that all the time. Melanie, can you share how often do you feel actually good about your business? Like how do you have more awesome days or not so awesome days over the last, we'll call it 28 years that you've been grinding?
Definitely more not so awesome days.
But those nice days are worth it, aren't they?
Yeah.
There's some pretty nice days.
Yeah.
So Melanie, when it came to buying the 7 subways, basically all back to back, buying all of those, how many times did you not want to close? How many times did you want to back out of that transaction?
Probably like 80% of the time.
80% of the time, and even after you closed, how many times did you think, God, why do I own 9 subways now? This was a ridiculous idea. How many times did you feel that way?
Probably like 90% of the time.
And this was going through the struggle of putting management in place, of training new staff, of having staff that just was not up to par, building code violations, water leaks, things not working out. The world was telling you no. The world was telling you a no a lot. What kept you pushing through all of the no's? What was it that you knew that nobody else or the older version of you wouldn't have known? What was it that kept you pushing?
I didn't really have a choice at the time. I was already in it. So And I guess I don't really like being told no. It's kind of like the 10-year-old kid in me, I like the more I'm told no, the more I want to do it. So I think that's what pushes me.
That's exactly the answer I was looking for. Let's give Melanie Santos a round of applause.
Yeah.
The most successful people I have met, they'll take a no. They'll take it like a chin, like a punch in the chin, but they will go a little harder because of that no. They'll push a little stronger in the direction because of the no. Not in spite of it, because of it. The no strengthens us. It makes us a little tougher. It enforces what we already know, that somebody out there is looking for what we've got. Each no encourages us to move forward. Now, Melanie was right. Before the deal, 80% of the time you want to back out of it. After the deal, the first 6 months, it's I want to back out of it almost every day. Almost every day, the first 6 months, 8 months of a deal. In fact, I would say there's some real estate deals the first 2 years. I was like, I don't want to be in this anymore. I want out completely. Even the condos, which me and Ron are very thankful, very blessed to own today, that made us over $3.5 million over the last 4 years. Even that particular deal, the first 14 months we were in hard money, Ron and I used to say, we had a sentence we'd say together, just a little mantra of ours. Man, we're in a tight spot right now. This is a really tight spot. This is a tight spot. We say it a lot. And then we'd say, but it's a really good position. It's a tight spot, but it's a good position to own this particular deal. And as we realized, because we were what's called heavy equity, we were house rich, cash poor, super equity, high equity position, but we couldn't tap into it. We couldn't get into it. And that's where ROE really, started helping us out as we started looking at the return on equity. And that's why we talk about it in the multifamily mastermind, which, by the way, this weekend, not this weekend, this Monday, we're going to go hard into emerging markets. So if you don't know how to find an emerging market, don't know what an emerging market is, everybody on the call right now who's in the mastermind, that's what we're going to talk about on Monday, is we're going into emerging markets. And that was a philosophy that came out of ROE. It made more sense for us to start passively investing. In fact, after he and I had that conversation, we invested $900,000 of our own money into debt products, into loans, lending to the community, lending. So if you ask us for loans right now, we do have all of our money lent out. So I want to let you know, because usually after I talk about how many loans we're doing, it's like people are like, hey man, you got loans? Here's how it works. We tie up our money for 6 months to 12 months. So it's tied up for 6 months to 12 months. But here's what's great about it. Who can do the math? 900,000 at 12%. $9,000 a month. Who would love $9,000 a month? Yeah, Ron and I have still, I want to say $2 million of equity still stuck in those condos. And every time one sells, we just was put aside into that little loaning bucket, the loaning bucket. Now we still borrow. We still borrow. In fact, we just borrowed, or we're about to borrow $100,000 for a deal in Decatur. We're about to borrow another $100,000 to flip 2 condos. So we're still borrowing, but we're lending. This is a little real estate pro tip outside of Go for Now. Real estate pro tip for you, real quick, before we go into the guided meditation of today, before we go into the book of the week for today. I've been asked recently to talk a little bit more about real estate deals and how it works in this market. ROE is a conversation I'll be talking about in the mastermind this week. And ROE is a conversation I'll be talking about at the summit. It's now officially one of the topics I will be going over at the summit in far more detail, because it seems like I've only spoken about ROE at small events locally within the community, within Florida. I've been doing a lot of traveling here. I did it in North Carolina, but I haven't really gotten to, at a national level, speak about the return on equity formula, the philosophy, and the strategy. So at the summit this year, we will be going over ROE in depth and how to have that conversation with other sellers and other owners and how to evaluate it yourself. But Ron and I, we set a goal to get $1 million set into our passive income account of just, debt product. But we also still invest, right? We're still borrowing money. We're still doing deals. We're still active. There's a reason for having both. If you just are a borrower, you'll never be a lender. And if you're just a lender, you'll never grow your net worth, because lending is just an income stream. So it's really important to borrow to grow your net worth, and then you sell those assets and slide it over into debt products. But you got to do it the right way. Talk to your financial advisor. There's a right way to not pay taxes on this. There's a right way to do these investments, do these structures. But if you try to do them all at once, you're going to pay taxes unless you 1031 like Dorena did into a DST. DST, Delaware Statutory Trust. This allows you to be tax-free doing a 1031 exchange. So fans, if that was something you're familiar with, you know all these terms. Who's clever, 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 clever. Awesome. Who here would love to know some of those terms? Thinks a little bit of that could be explained a little bit better. Awesome. That's a code language of real estate. All right, let's shift over to the book of the week. Who here's committed to selling more, going for no, setting no sales goals, setting sales goals that involve going for no? Awesome. Then before I give you to Doug, I've got to say one thing to you. I apologize for the inevitable pain that is coming to you. I also bless you as you heal every day. Here's the suggestion. After one day of going for no, the next day you will not want to do it because the first day will hurt like hell. It's like going to the gym for the first time. If you go lift heavy, you won't be back the next day. Here's what I'll ask. Go back anyway. This is not like going to the gym on a sore muscle. This will not kill you. It will only make you stronger. I've promised and I've sworn many times on this call that I will never ask you to do something that will kill you. I will never ask you to do something that will physically injure you. But emotionally, there will be scarring. You will be scared. You'll be tired. The hardest part of calling the second time is you already know what to expect. And remember what fear stands for. I made the post this morning. Who knows what fear stands for? First to type it in the chat wins. First to type what fear stands for in the chat wins. There's a lot of different meanings going in the chat. Drop it in there. What does fear stand for? Doug, you only messaged me. That went straight to me only. Yes. And now you're muted of some sort?
Am I?
Not now. No, we hear you.
Sorry. I was asking you to make me a co-host in that private message.
That's right. I made you a co-host.
Cool. Thank you.
What does fear stand for? Drop it in the chat. I see a lot of positive people. I see Geo said, thank you, Geo. That's what I was looking for. Forget everything and run. Forget everything and run, or F everything and run is what a lot of people are raised to think fear stands for. But those of you in this community understand that fear can stand for something else. Fear has two meanings in this community. Fear has the meaning face everything and rise, or false emotions appearing real. Fear has two meanings in Alchemist Station, either false emotions appearing real or face everything and rise. And the reason we take those perspectives is because we know the truth that no matter what, if we just stay focused on doing the right things the right way at the right time, eventually we will receive the right results. Oh, Doug, we got your hypnotic script on the screen, which means it's that time of the day. Actually, before we do the guided meditation, before we shift over to Doug's share screen and we're doing that, can we get somebody who's read Go for No? Who has read the book? Show of hands if you read the book Go for No. First unmute gets to tell me about this book. Thurman James, since I talked enough shit about you, go ahead. You're up.
Yeah, no, Go for No is a great book. It talks about a man who literally is, it's like a little bit of a true but fictional story. So you got two versions of the same man. You have one version that is a successful salesperson, and you have the version of him that's the unsuccessful salesperson who, and then so throughout the story, he talks about the philosophy for going for no. And yeah, he also talks about like just like adopting the mentality like fail faster and quicker and bigger so that you can have the success you desire.
Give Thurman James a big round of applause. Appreciate you, Thurman. So here's the deal. Alchemist Nation, we could use some people who are looking for some extra money. So if you are looking to sell, you want to learn more about sales, please send us an email at events@alchemiststation.com and we will send you an application for the sales team. The only people we allow into the sales team people who do their deals morally, ethically, and legally, who believe in the power of masterminds, who believe that we are doing the right thing, who want to build millionaires. If you have picked up the cup and said, I'm going to build 100 millionaires, selling with us is how you do it. You can build 100 millionaires by putting 100 people into the program. Actually, that's a lie. If you want to do it in a year, you're going to need to put 1,000 people in the program. It's about 20% return on investment. So if you want to build 100 millionaires, you could take 5 years and put, 100 people in over 5 years, and eventually somebody will pull across the finish line enough hundreds. Or you bring in 1,000 people, and in a year we can build 100 millionaires. So fans, if you understand the 80-20 rule, it takes a lot, like 10% become millionaires in a year. The rest take 2, 3, 4, 5 years to process. And some people along the way, some people who've been into our mastermind, somewhere along the line, they realize they don't want to be a millionaire. They just want to hang out with this community. That's okay too. That's what volunteers and salespeople are for. So if that's you, if you're like, hey, I don't want to make $1 million, just want to help a lot of people, then it's possible the sales team is a good place for you. If you really like customer service, if you really like helping people with the idea of our mission, and you'd like to get paid, $2,000 a week, $2,000 every time you sell somebody into our mastermind, offer the opportunity. It's not a true sale unless they're begging you for it, in which case you have sold. Then yeah, that's a great way for you to volunteer. For everybody else, if our team calls you, they're not trying to sell you. They're trying to disqualify you. Does that make sense? They're just trying to get on to the next call. They're trying to help you add value, build relationships, build rapport, make sure you're moving in the right direction, and they're just aiming to get to the next person. So respect their time, answer all their questions, because it helps us improve our system. It helps us improve the product that we're delivering. Many of our services are free. Who's noticed that too? Many of what we do is free. So we're constantly looking to improve the free services, the free things we're able to provide to build millionaires. The idea is an automated process. We go through a lot of no's to get here, and we'll go through a lot more. So before we move on to the guided meditation, let's give Thurban and let's give everybody on our sales team a big round of applause. Those who are coming, those who are already here with us, they go through a lot of no's in what I have to say is probably the nicest community possible. The people who haven't quite heard about us, they're a little rougher. They're a little meaner to our folks on the call. But for those who know who they are, who know what Alchemist Nation is, our salespeople get a really good response. We get a really friendly response. So if one of our people calls, just understand they're under a lot of pressure. They are talking to a lot of mean people. So if they happen to call you, please just be nice to them, encourage them, support them, guide them in, hey, you know what? I'll answer any question you have, but right now, this is what my focus is. Just answer the question as fast as you possibly can, and wish them good luck. Show fans, if you commit, supporting the sales team in that manner, so that if you do it for them, they'll do it for you. And hopefully the person you call in your business does the same exact thing, because like attracts like, and you'll connect with the right people. All right. Doug McGurk, you're up. Yeah. Ran a little longer this time. Sorry, Gary. I love sales. I love this mission and go to know. Doug McGurk, let's get some guided meditation rocking. If you are driving your vehicle, please keep driving. Please be safe. No machinery during guided meditation. Greg, keep your eyes on the road. You can come back and listen to this later. I'll chop it up. I'll put it out on the YouTube channel. Let's give Doug McGurk a big round of applause. He toured with Tony Robbins. He's a master NLP practitioner and a certified hypnotist, and also a king of guided meditation. To sound fantastic.
Thank you. Let's give it up for Walter and everyone on the call as well for being here. You guys are crushing it, right? They say 80% is showing up, but you are taking action. You are doing more than just showing up. You are participating. God bless you. And also no is just not yet. Doesn't mean just not yet, not now. But as a great example, the 3 calls. First call, not yet. Text, not yet. Third call, okay, we're ready. So just keep on pushing. So with that being said, let's see if we're hearing some music. Are you hearing that? All right. So why don't you go ahead and take a nice, big, deep cleansing breath in and relax. Take another nice, big, deep cleansing breath in and rolls your eyes up to the back of your head till you feel a little strain. That's it. And relax again. this last time as you take a nice, big, deep, cleansing breath in. Tense every muscle in your body. Tense your arms, tense your hands, tense your legs, tense your feet, tense your butt, tense your gut, tense your mouth. Hold it. And relax as you let go of all stress, all anxiety. And I wonder, you can imagine yourself standing at the edge of a vast open field. The early morning mist still clinging to the ground, obscuring the far reaches of the horizon. This field represents your journey in real estate and entrepreneurship, a realm where potential and possibility are as boundless as the open sky above. So step boldly into the field of opportunities as you embrace each no as a stepping stone to success. And with each rejection as a path to refine your strategies. And as you begin to walk across this field, envision each step as a conversation, each stride as an outreach to a potential client or partner. With every step, you might encounter a no. And you will, but it's a gentle refusal, like a small stone on your path. But with each no, you adjust your path slightly, learning, refining, and enhancing your approach. So as you connect even more to God, to your higher power, repeat these affirmations either aloud or in your mind. I am resilient, learning from every interaction. Each no brings me closer to the yes that matters. My persistence and resilience shapes my success in real estate and entrepreneurship. I wonder, what would happen if you were to ask and answer these affirmations? Why am I confident in the face of rejection? How does each no enhance my understanding of my market? What insights do I gain from each interaction that guide me closer to my goals? Imagine now that each no is not a barrier, but a redirection, guiding you to a more fruitful path, much like the way rivers carve through landscapes, finding the path of least resistance, creating beautiful canyons and valleys in their wake. So as you let the flow of no's guide you to your ultimate yes, harvest wisdom from each refusal, and align your strategies with the feedback you receive. And as you continue your journey across the field, See yourself gathering these stones of no, building them into a strong foundation, a platform from which you can view the expanse of your achievements. This platform elevates you, giving you a clearer view, a better understanding of the vast field of opportunities that lies before you. And as you're more deeply connected to your higher power, to God, to Mother Nature, to divine principle, repeat these affirmations aloud or quietly in your head. I build my success on the lessons learned from each no. My journey is enriched with persistence and resilience. I am a master of adaptation, turning challenges into stepping stones. And from this state, this awareness, answer these questions. Why do I feel so empowered by each challenge I encounter? How do my experiences contribute so much to my growth as a leader? What makes me uniquely capable of transforming obstacles into opportunities? And as the sun rises higher, burning away the morning mist, your path becomes clearer. As you go for no. Because with each no, your direction becomes more assured, your steps more confident. You are not just walking across this field, you are mapping it, understanding its contours and textures, and mastering its challenges. And you embrace the clarity that comes with persistence. As you use each no as a guidepost, steering you towards greater achievements. And you celebrate the journey as much as the destination. That's right. And as you emerge from this session, carry with you the vivid imagery of this field, the stones, and the path. Let these metaphors guide your actions and decisions in the real world, reminding you that each no is not just an end, but a powerful beginning. That's right. Come on back. As you become more present to the room, feeling your feet, your eyes.
Give Doug McGurk a big round of applause. We're coming back feeling refreshed, like cool spring water splashed over our faces. Now, Doug, as you were doing that guided meditation, I noticed that you brought us through a special space. Where do you come up with these? Like, just where does some of these places that you'll bring us to come from?
I actually have an entire 2 bookshelves full of hypnosis books, trainings, ideas, Ericksonian stories, and I just start putting there. And then I listen to the call, and then you see me kind of busy. I'm throwing stuff uh, into the Word doc basically and putting it together. And then what I'm doing is, believe it or not, I've now been collecting these. I'm going to enhance them even more and create a product specifically for Alchemist Nation that will be enhanced versions of all of these to be part of the whole package.
Give Doug McGurk a big round of applause. That is something we haven't even talked about. That's something he sees the need in the community, sees the demand for it. By the way, Doug, I posted 2 hypnosis sessions onto the YouTube channel. There were ones that I had done, but I'm going to post this one. I'm actually working on the cover of it right now, which I'll share with you very quickly. This is the cover I'm working on for the hypnosis session that I'm going to put up today. So let's give Doug McGurk a big round of applause for setting us up. It's unique how this community was built. It was really just listening to what's going on, listening to the opportunities, listening to each of your goals. So one more time, let's give Doug McGurk a big round of applause for caring about each of you and the results. Summit is coming up. This year's 100. I can change the name of it. This year's Business and Real Estate Summit is coming up. It's October 18th to the 20th. We're going to open up to Q&A, and I'll stick around for about 25 minutes. So if anybody has to go, my wish for you is that you make somebody else smile, that you have a conversation with somebody today. If you are in sales, don't just jump on the phone. Please set your no goals before you jump on the phone. If you're feeling inspired, feeling like wired, like I got to go, please also set up a way for you to do this consistently every day. It's not about having one powerful day. It's about having multiple powerful days over and over and over so you can create massive success for yourself. This is a lot like going to the gym. Show of hands if you've gotten in shape from activity. You've done this before. You've done it. Excellent. So this structure of saying, I'm going to make X amount of no's happen in my life every day is how you get to the results you're seeking. And if you've crushed it, if you've absolutely crushed it, take a day off. But if you haven't crushed it, maybe this is the week you don't give yourself that day off. Show of hands if you know what I'm talking about. Just grinding through because you made, like, in the Bible say some sins, the sins of the father, right? So you made some sins for yourself and your business, and you may have to pay those off by just grind through a day. Who here's done 30 days straight? Know what it's like to work hard for 30 days? Oh yeah. Who here's done 30 days straight? Know what it's like to work hard for 30 days and not gotten the result they wanted? Now's not the time to take a day off. You got goals, go hit them. Rise and grind, baby. This is your time. This is your year. Let's open up to Q&A. First to unmute wins. And if you've got a hustle story, oh man, that's what I want to hear. If you've got a hustle
Hey,
story
what's
of time
up?
it's worked, go ahead, Tashin.
So I shared some stuff with Gary over the week regarding the deal that we spoke about last week in the mastermind. And luckily, because I deal with great mentors, like the mentors that I have, like yourself, when I called zoning and planning, I learned that it was a whole cluster mess. And that was the real bunny of why my seller was trying to sell, because we could not legally operate the property the way that we were intending to operate the property through planning and zoning. However, as we say, go for the no, I don't like no's. So after speaking with planning and zoning, they let me in on a little secret and said, well, if you open up a 501c3 that is listed as a church, we have no jurisdiction over what you do in that building, and you can do whatever you want tax-free, as long as you provide one free service to the people that you're providing affordable housing to. So that was our workaround. And providing value to a retail home owner and real estate agent who were about to get into a bad threeplex deal on a retail loan, provided some value, talked to their agent, educated their agent a little bit, educated them a little bit, Come to find out, the homeowner's W-2 job was actually setting up private non-for-profits that operate in the for-profit space and helping them get 200,000 plus grants a year for each entity that they work with. So because we added value and saved them from doing a bad deal, they were like, we'd love to, for free, show you how to set up your non-for-profit organization and help you get to a 200,000 annual grant funding per year. And any other investors that you work with, we'd like to bring that service to them as well.
Give Tashin a round of applause. He just confirmed something Gary and I have been talking about for the last year, that Alchemist Nation may become a church with a mission. By the way, who here thinks we do a lot of free work, charity work for the community? I think there's a lot of that involved. So that is actually something he and I have spoken about in jest, but we may actually take it seriously for some of the work that we actually do. Let's give Tashin a round of applause. Very, very cool way of doing a deal. Very, very cool way of doing a deal.
Yeah, so we are going to go through that process. We're just navigating now if we want to. There's two ways that we were advised to move forward. Either we can become a subsidiary of an existing church under our own EIN number, where we won't be required to go through all of the paperwork and we can pretty much be a non-for-profit overnight, or we can start our own entity. So I'm working with them and some of, Gary and some of our community to kind of find out what are the fears of being a subsidiary of another entity and what we would be subject to, and if it would be better for us to just become our own entity.
Well, let's give Father Tashin a round of applause. The Church of Collins may have just started. All right, let's get another share. Go ahead, Deborah.
I'll have nothing to share, but I'm saying if you open up that church, I got the choir spot. That's all I'm saying. I'm the charge of the choir. That's it, Walter. I want the choir part, okay?
We got a choir on deck, the greatest singers, the most passionate people in the community. I love it. Awesome. Let's get some shares on going for no. Let's get some salespeople who have pushed pretty hard and seen some success in it. And I don't mind some shares of people who've pushed really hard and felt the pain of the no's. Go ahead, Billy.
What's up, guys? So I've been writing a lot of notes. So just for context, if you see me not looking, my iPad's down here. I'm fully present with all of you amazing humans. Yeah, there's two big things that I shared, and call it coincidence if we even want to use that word. I wrote a post the other day that the rejection you experience is usually the redirection you needed, right? And a lot of times, I mean, everything to validate everything Walter just taught, we're programmed that rejection is a reflection of us, right? Someone doesn't want to buy me. It's my fault. There's something wrong with me. And it's just not the way it is. It's just, we're not qualified to work together. It's okay, right? So really having a reframe like Walter presented, and Doug, but I know he bailed off, is so powerful. It allows you to open up that phone call with a different perspective than ever before. So you don't take it personally. And that's a really huge indicator of people that are successful and not. And the other thing that I wrote down, which I think is really powerful, is we talk a lot about the law of attraction. And Walter mentioned that today. But law of attraction, I think, is great. I think we all maybe resonate and believe in it. I know I certainly do. But it's one law of many, many universal laws. And one that might be more useful in this framework is the law of cause and effect, right? Like that's really the idea. You could attract the right lead into your database, but if you don't make the call, there will be no effect. You could attract an opportunity to join the gym, but if you don't create the routine and do the cause, you won't have the effect of releasing body fat. That's powerful. I'm going to talk to my boy Gio here because he's on the phone call, right? Gio, I really believe, manifested him winning the summit ticket at my event last week. No doubt. He proclaimed it. He declared it. He goes, that's mine. He even told someone, you go home now because I'm winning it. Like literally 2 minutes later, my beautiful wife calls his name. And I shared that, for one, because I love Gio. But two, he manifested and attracted this opportunity, but he will not have the positive effects of the summit. he will not have the positive effects of the speakers, the workbooks, listening to Walter on stage, if he doesn't move into action and get to the summit, be open-minded and take action. So I think those two things are really powerful because we lean a lot to manifestation and law of attraction, but please don't forget the law of cause and effect has to be there too. 100%. I love you all. Thank you for your time.
Give Billy Reuter a round of applause. It is confirmed Billy is a speaker at the summit this year. So he will be presenting the trifecta. He'll be taking it with an even further year of experience from working with each of you. He's been doing a lot of work within the community. So the trifecta this year is more adjusted and attuned to where you are and where you're going. Since you brought it up, also spoke with Vinny Chopra on Thursday. He's committed to speaking about the silver tsunami. He's going to share how he's made his money through a senior assisted livings and what the trend is over the next 20 years and how you can capitalize on this. I've got him doing a little bit of research and sharing some of his work that he's done with baby boomers and how that generation works and why how you can leverage as an investor. So very, very excited about the talks we're doing at the summit this year. They're very, very in tune with this community as we listen, as we get rejected on some of our ideas and we hear your ideas, and well, your ideas always trump ours. Let's go, Eleni.
I just wanted to share that to focus on the gratitude, at least for me, share a quick story. It was when I first started my business years ago, and I was in the midst of a shit ton of no's stacking up, and I had $11 and 3 cans of beans to my name, and my car was breaking down literally when I was on the bridge headed home. It was like chitty chitty bang bang, and I was like, shit, and started to freak out. But then I always remind myself, when I'm at that point, it's time to go back into gratitude. So I'm like, I'm breathing, I can see, I'm grateful for all this traffic because it means everyone was going slow enough that they didn't rear end me. And I made it to the mechanics, dropped my car off, walked a few blocks home, and they called and they said it was going to be about $800. And I'm like, yep, go ahead, fix it. Again, I knew they wouldn't take the $11 or 3 cans of beans as payment, but I was pacing up and down in my condo. I'm grateful I can breathe. I'm grateful I have shelter. I'm grateful for my angels. I'm, grateful for my physical body. I just kept focusing on that. And then in less than a week, I had $25,000 in commission.
Give Eleni a round of applause. It's because you worked pretty hard for months before that moment. Is that fair?
Yes. But I think the gratitude is what allowed me to be the receptacle for it to come in.
Another law, the law of gratitude. There are laws, these are principles, and it is one of the wealth principles. There are laws and principles that guide you towards your success. You must be open and willing to receive once you've put in the work. Let's give Eleni one more round of applause. Such a great share, and what a great principle. I see Liz and Herbert, and before we take yours, I've got to share one more principle, one more universal truth, a universal law. It's called the law of detachment. Which says what we resist persists. So if we can separate ourselves from the outcome and just do the work, just fall in love with the game of the work, fall in love with the improvement, fall in love with the perfection of doing the thing, the service for the customer, the questions or the jumping on the calls, if we can just fall in love with the process, detach ourselves from the result completely with the focus of doing it the right way, there's a good chance that if we're grateful for the opportunity to serve, grateful for the opportunity to learn, grateful for the customers, grateful for the leads, grateful for the relationships, that possibly if we focus on the result we want for them, not for ourselves, but focus on the result we want for them, that we may attract money into our lives. Show of hands if you can use all of the laws. They all work together. Awesome. Go ahead, Liz. And then Herbert, first unmute wins.
So I have the story of when I almost gave up on a client. I had tried to make appointments with him all week long. The day before Easter, I scheduled an appointment with him. He canceled. Scheduled it again the day after Easter. He canceled. I was just about to give up on the client when my mentor had told me hey, don't give up on the client. Instead, go to his house and give him flowers because he's having a hard time right now. And it actually turns out that he would want to be actually my client, and now we're looking to going back into escrow, because he fell out, so it's off. And then the one that seemed to be so easy for me looks like he's going to be a no versus someone that was so hard to get in touch with that is saying, well, now that you've sold this property, I have 30 more units for you to sell.
So moral of the story is, even if they tell you no 10 times, keep going for no until successful. Is that, show of hands if we agree that's kind of the case? There are people in Alchemist Nation that told me no many times. There are people who ended up jumping into our mastermind, told me no many, 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 many times. Said no, no, can't do it, not ready, not my thing, not for me. But I knew it was because of the conversations we had had. And so I stayed with them. There are people who jumped on the mastermind after 5 years of having conversations with me. There's people who jumped into this community after 5 years. And it was only 5 years later they were finally ready. Imagine if I didn't follow up. Imagine if I didn't keep posting content. Imagine if I didn't keep doing the 52 weeks to wealth. There are people who only recently became millionaires that followed me for 5 years. Imagine if I hadn't kept posting. I told Thurban this in the gym. I was like, imagine if I didn't post every single day for the last 5 years, the amount of people who wouldn't be sending me thank you letters, thank you messages. My DM is full. My DM is literally full. It's why I ask each of you to please message in the comments. I still pay attention to the comments. DM is totally full with people saying thank you. People saying, man, like thank you for that post. Thank you for that share. You saved my life. You saved my business. This was great advice. So you're going out there and being consistent and persistent could be exactly what a person needs. Not a lot of people they trust. And maybe they're having hard times in their life and they just need that little extra step from you. Herbert, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, just have a question. How do you avoid being nagged out or having a negative mindset when you come across a lot of no's? Because eventually, I think you do get to a place it's like mentally where it gets frustrating, and you have to kind of readjust your mindset to avoid that negative mindset, which is it's gonna happen, I feel, eventually.
Yeah, and this is for each of you out there, not just Herbert, but that is a challenge that under six-figure earners face. So this is for each of you who's not hit six figures yet. There's a pain threshold inside your mind that says run away from negativity, run away from pain, run away from challenges, rejection. There's a lot of perceived value on other people's opinions under the six-figure mark. Show of hands if you know people who've earned six figures, they don't seem to care what other people think. You, and so you will attain that, and this is for each of you who haven't made the six figures yet. You will attain that strength when you just fall in love with the actions. But there is a strength that comes from not caring what people think about you, but caring more about what you're capable of doing for them. Caring more about, I want to help this person so badly. I see their pain. I see their problem. They may not be aware of it yet, but I'm going to help them no matter what. That mentality, which is why you hear sometimes coaches coaching for free, real estate investors doing services for free, going out above and beyond, working for free before we get paid. You hear a lot about this. It's because we want to help that customer so badly that we're willing to compromise on some of the normal traditional requirements like payment or them signing a full contract. Sometimes we go deep into the result that we're seeking for the person versus the amount of assurance or certainty that we have that they're going to take care of us. That comes from falling in love with the process and a customer, like really, really, really just being like, I'm going to hear a bunch of no's and it's fine. That emotional concern, Herbert, it comes from not having pushed hard enough yet to know how strong you actually are. Like it just comes from not having enough practice with the pain. It's like going to the gym for the first time. You don't know how much to lift. You really don't. You don't know what is going to be dangerous for you, what's going to be safe for you. So you just have to pick up some weights and slowly, incrementally increase until you find out what your body's threshold is. But you're also going to discover over time that the more you do it, the stronger you get. So Herbert, I would say that you don't have to say anything or admit anything on the call, but the mindset right there is typically of a mindset of somebody who's earned less than six figures. And I say that because we're talking about money today. We're talking about calls with customers. Is that fair, Herbert? We're talking about like customer calling, and that fear and pain of rejection isn't something I face. That's not something that a person who's made six figures faces. That's something that somebody's under the six figures. And this is, by the way, for each of you who's like, hey, where does this data come from? 500 interviews with human beings who are all ranges of income, all ranges of income. And what I've seen consistently is the reason a person doesn't make six figures is because they're afraid of what other people think about them. Very, very consistently. Very, very, very consistently. And I also believe work ethic has a lot to do with it, but work ethic is just an ability to push pain away while you do things that you don't want to do. So right now, Herbert, if you're finding that negativity keeps coming into your brain, some of the action steps or things you can spend time with is loving yourself just a little bit more and saying you deserve better. Just really loving yourself a little bit more, saying you deserve better, and going and getting on the next call anyway. And saying this person's not rejecting me, they're rejecting themselves from their own success. And that's okay. Maybe I could do a little better to let them know how much success there is left for them. That on the other side of this, because I know you're a real estate agent, correct? You got your license?
Yeah, I'm a real estate agent.
So you know there's some
Yeah,
people who need to sell their homes, some people who need to buy homes, right?
right.
Building millionaires, how we built millionaires, buy real estate or sell real estate, sometimes pyramiding. So in order to get there faster, transact real estate pretty quickly, and you can get to, if you do it right, you can get to $1 million quick, retire forever.
Right. Yeah, you say it's like no pain, no gain. That you have to go embrace the pain.
Embrace the pain, the no pain, no gain, go through the grind. Listen to people for suggestions for improvement. Yeah, I'm not saying don't listen to people, don't care what people say. I care very much about a person rejecting me. I'm going to go change my program if I see that being relevant and often enough. But if one person tells me, "Oh man, I don't like that your call ran, from to 11:26, but I've got 49 people still on the call getting benefit," I may dismiss those, 20, so what we had 30 people dropped off. Those 30 people are welcome to drop off. There's 49 still here. So you listen to the people who are relevant. The 49 that are still here want a little more. Show fan if that's true for you. You're willing to stay to the end. Yeah, everybody else, they got goals, they got things they got to do. God bless them too, right? We can modify the program. This section is for you. This section isn't for the people who need to jump off in an hour. This little Q&A section is for the people who want to stick around a little longer. And if, by the way, if you do have to jump off, you have my blessing. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. The Q&A session is for those who want a little bit extra, a little bit more. So Herbert, before we jump off and shift over to Geo, I just want to say we love you. Right? Alchemist Nation supports you. We love you. We care about you. We think you're a pretty damn impressive person, that you're capable of significantly more than you've allowed yourself to do so far. So if you go out and a couple people say, "Hey, I don't want to work with you," ask them why. And be willing to not take it personally. Just, hey, who would you work with? What would it take for you to work with somebody? Maybe it's not me. What would that person have to become? Because you can always improve. Do you believe you can improve, Herbert?
Yeah, yeah,
I
I
believe
do.
you can improve
Yeah,
too. You're
yeah.
Portuguese, right? Mata.
It's more like I'm not sure it's Spanish or Portuguese.
All right. So you're
Yeah,
you're not from America originally. Your family wasn't originally
right.
from America, right? You're first or
Uh,
second generation here?
yeah, my family's from El Salvador, but the name is Spanish, I guess you could say.
Already proof that you can level up. Already proof that in your family they came to the better country.
Right.
Let's give Herbert a round of applause. God, I love America. Awesome. Go ahead, Gio. And Herbert, if you haven't earned six figures, maybe this is the year. Maybe just go after it, man. Why not? One of the questions I used to ask myself when I hadn't earned it was, why not? Why not me? Why not? I couldn't come up with a good answer. So I just kept working, just kept grinding.
The reason I bring it up because I have had sales jobs in the past, and it was all my pay, like your money that you got was all commission. So if you didn't sell, you didn't get paid. So it's kind of tough to live that way, I
Whoa,
have
whoa, whoa, whoa. Don't put that negativity on me, dog. Man, I find it hard to live within a budget that's 40,000 a year or 30,000 a year or 50,000 a year. I'm like, Give me commission and I will build a system that brings me $250,000 a year in my sleep. Right? Give me commission, please. And I'll figure out who the customer is and I'll find more of that customer and I'll find out what they're missing and I'll be the person they work with. I would much rather live off of commission because I can control that than off of a salary. Even a salary of 100,000. It's like, if you want me to go to a job every day, you understand my girlfriend's pregnant, right? I might have to go drop a baby right now, like at any moment. And I work on commission. I can work whenever I want. Ask her. I may work every day because I love what I do, but I'm in love with the grind. But Herbert, trust me, commission in my world is significantly better than just an hourly rate. Because an hourly rate, I can't change that. I'm stuck to whatever contract I signed.
Right, that's true. I think you have to look at a different perspective, right? Like you get to make more, not just what you can make at a job or something like that.
What I heard, which is the best way to look at this, you find out what you're really worth. When you work commission, you find out what you're worth to the marketplace. Now, each one of you is valuable as a human being, but to the marketplace, you find out what you're really worth. You find out how attuned you are to your customers, how attuned you are to their like the service they require, how attuned you are to the world and the conversations that they need to hear, and the product or service that they need to receive and the way they need to receive it. You find out your attunement to this existence. There's a lot of people who are very ethereal and they want to, they're very hippie-ish and they're like, man, they're on this like a different stratospherical plane and they don't make money. What I like is discovering how attuned this community is to their customers, how in alignment we are with the people around us because they pay us when we're in alignment with their needs, with what they're looking for. Money is always there when you're vibrating at the right frequency to receive at the same level somebody else is looking to pass along. So fans, if that makes sense, we're grasping, this conversation. The reason that Ken Ingram was able to make $2 million on a deal he just did was because he was vibrating at a frequency that said, I'm going to pick this property up from you. And the guy who was selling it was vibrating at a frequency that says, I want to sell it to somebody who wants to pick it up, who can get the financing done. The vibration was right, which is why Ken was able to make that $2 million, tax-free money, equity that's in his building that he chooses to hold on to, chooses to keep because it's bringing him cash flow every single month. And he loves his customers. He gets to deal with bikers all day long from different generations, different types of bikes. He has a blast. Go ahead, Gio.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'll
morning.
try to make it short.
We're all jumping off. We're all about to go, but we're going to stick on for this one last.
I know. just piggyback on what you're talking about, what Herbert was talking about. I've been in sales almost all my life, and I've been in his position, so I know exactly what it is. I'm 54 years old, and just within the last 5 to 10 years, I've changed my mindset. I've noticed that one thing you have to change is your mindset. If you start your day with a negative, you're going to be bringing all negative. So if you change your attitude, you're going to see more positive things, attracting more stuff. I used to work in a call center. In a call center, one of the things that I always do is put like a little mirror right there while you're talking, and always with a smile, because the other person on the call gets that vibration. At this age now, believe we're all part of energy, right? So the vibration that you put out is being received by the wrong people, the people that you don't want. So what I've changed now is also a couple things. I'm in the mindset of abundance. There's enough deals for everybody. And kind of what Billy said, my recent, I adopted a saying, rejection is God's protection. That means you weren't supposed to go through that path. You got to go to this other path. That means another 2 more no's, 3 more no's. So this, Walter, is a powerful, I love this like every other Saturday, but this is really powerful because for us entrepreneurs and salespeople, this is the grind for every day. And if you think about this, if you're going to be in real estate, I've been in real estate for almost 30 years. And I can tell you, as a realtor, as an investor, you're calling the same people, right? Motivated sellers, what they want to do, what they want to buy, what they want to sell, yada, yada, yada. So if you're able to determine what you want, go after that. I've seen in this industry where you see a lot of people going after 5 different things. Stick to one thing and pursue it. That's the only time you're able to be consistent and persistent. And every no just means no today. Put him in a follow-up spreadsheet and call him once a week, once a month. And you'll notice I've done deals where a year later, 2 years later, 6 months later, you're going to be the only game in town. They're like, okay, what was your thing again? So when you approach any sales, don't approach them like you're going to make a killing that day. No, approach it because they'll feel that, and they're going to be in the defensive. They're going to be pulled up the wall. But if you come to him, like Walter says, if you come to him and say, hey, Walter, I'm here. How can I help you, man? What do you need? And you hear him out, either you could or you can't, or you're going to find somebody that can. If you're more in a service-oriented aspect of it, their guards comes down, and they won't see you just for the money. They'll see you, oh, well, hold on, he really wants to do something good for me. And if you want to do things for free, like, hey, maybe I got somebody who can help you out, or maybe I got somebody who can help you out, that's fine. You see the universe giving you tenfold for all that seva aspect of it. So again, I invite you to change the mindset. You look young. I don't know how old you are, but like I said, I'm 54 years old, and I tell you, it just took me about this in the 50s to really get this. And I see my life changing. Not only that, when you change that vibration, you attract that. This is how it became part of Walter's community, because when he and I and Billy, we just started just clicking like, oh, yes, absolutely right here. I want to be part of that community no matter what. So anyway, so I'll leave that. You could, you're more than welcome to hit me up privately if you want and continue. But absolutely. Thank you. Sorry.
Give Gio Sama a round of applause. You ain't got to apologize, man. You feel passionate about the subject, right? Anybody who's in sales, been in commissions, feels strongly about it. Go ahead, Gary.
Hey, I just wanted to say, and this is something that we talked about last Monday on the our leadership mastermind. And I just want to go over this principle because right along with what Gio says, a lot of people make a decision to be in a better state of mind, but they never do anything to manage that decision. You have to put actual actions behind the decision. You can't just say, I'm going to be in a state of mindset of abundance, or I'm going to be in a good, cheerful attitude. So, old Chinese proverb says, assume cheerfulness you do not feel, and shortly you feel the cheerfulness you assume. So if you make a decision in the morning to just be cheerful, I'm going to be in a good attitude until 10 a.m. That's it. I'm going to be in a good attitude until 10 a.m. The rest of the day will take care of itself. So if you think about that, but you have to manage the decision. Don't just say, I'm going to be in a good attitude, or I'm going to be getting all these no's, and I'm going to be, you have to do something to make that happen. And that's called managing your decisions. And that's one of the leadership principles that we talk about. So good on you, Gio. Thanks.
Let's give Gary a round of applause. Absolutely crushing it when it comes to making sure that our local leaders have all the resources and tools that they need. Alchemist Nation is on the rise. We are growing quickly. Each month, we have more people showing up through our events. Inside of our system, inside Alchemist Connect, we now have a scoring system, an engagement system. So each one of you is now getting an engagement score. We'll be revealing what those scores are based on soon, but inside the system, we can actually see, and we're giving a point to each different activity. So when somebody opens up the newsletter, by the way, show of hands if you're on the newsletter, you're on it, you get it each week. If you're opening the newsletter, that is a point that we're assigning to you. As you increase in engagement points, we have different rewards that we'll be revealing at the summit based on certain people who have hit certain targets inside of the system. Our goal is to tie this directly to your success within the community, tie this directly to how far along a person is along this millionaire building process, or how many people have they helped become millionaires? How many people are they bringing through the process themselves, or are moving along the process in their own path? It's something I've been working on for months, and the team has been working on for months. It's more like I asked and the team said, we'll figure it out. And months have gone by and they finally have figured it out. So let's give Mark Dozwa and Gary Aker a round of applause. They were on the call with me when we finally implemented it. I'd love to be able to reveal it to you, hopefully by the summit, what this looks like, how it works. But for right now, I just want you to know that we are doing a better job at tracking you. We're doing a much better job at tracking your success. And if you feel that there's more that we could do, please obviously let us know. If you're feeling you're falling behind or you need a little bit more opportunity or support, please let us know. We can only do what you ask us for. That being said, this week, you've got to go set some sales goals. Even some of you sales dogs from the past, I need you to shake off some of that rust. Some of you had those powerful weeks, powerful months, powerful years. It's time to bring that back. It's time to wake up the beast, right? If you've been too nice because you're afraid of being too big in the world, afraid you might hurt somebody, scare somebody, freak somebody out with all that income you're making, that in-your-face energy. Maybe you fear that you're going to be too helpful and scare some people away. Let me assure you, nobody is afraid of the person who's offering so much help that it could change their life. Nobody is afraid. Nobody avoids the person who's giving them the opportunities they've been looking for the entire time. So if you're afraid of being too big, afraid of releasing the beast, let me encourage you this week and say maybe this is the week where you realize everybody's looking for it. The world has been looking for you to release that gift, release the energy that's inside you, to push out into the world a little bit harder, a little more aggressively, and trust yourself that you'll be gentle in the situations that require gentleness. Of course you will. You'll be empathic in the moments that require empathy, but you'll also be discerning in the moments that it's time to get off the phone with somebody who wants nothing to do with you. And that's okay too. Cheers to your success. When you have a choice, always work with the best. I'll see you next week.